how can you see her at the age this
Uh,
especially?
yeah, and we're trying to, learn more fully about each other. What's been nice is she's allowing us to coach her in the flow of things. Literally, while she's on the court, I'm yelling something to her, and she's saying, "Okay," kind of. So it has to be, two-part deal. You have to be able to absorb the information and then quickly apply it. And she's been able to do that. And then she's got teammates that are communicating to her when, maybe there's something be a call and she's like, no. And just learning your teammates. I mean, some of our coverages, she was just trying to find her way through it. She's just a competitor. And the hustle plays are what we need. And I thought she was relatively disruptive defensively. And then, big offensive rebound at a key time. And that's what defines her. And that's what we wanted her for. And also, the big things was, just giving McBride a chance to not have to play both ends so engaged all the time. It's draining. And so she got life from being able to say, okay, Nate, you go chase her around. And then we saw, Mac, where she benefited from that and had some legs for some shots that she got there towards the end. And but yeah, that's with Nay, I think everybody being open-minded. That's a key.
Cheryl, you guys have the first quote, so active defensive, getting against the wall, steals, deflections, blocks, and you guys change that first quarter, just settle in.
You said that they were active?
You were.
Yeah, I thought both teams were. But yet, it was a 25 to 24 quarter. We just came off a game where it was 100 to 93. And so I think both coaches went into the game thinking that was going to be hard to do with it. Both teams really pride themselves in the defense. I thought, by the second quarter, they were getting to us a little more. We were making passing errors and, more turnovers. But our activity, that's what we do. Alana Smith is just incredible. I mean, you don't come to a basketball game and go, that's not one of the best defensive players in the league. She's just incredible in terms of how she impacts play and what you have to think about when she's in your area. So that activity, I thought our guard play was decent in terms of our activity, but 22 points in the paint in the first half, we wouldn't be bothered by it. We did a much better job. When you play my-man defense, it's a team like this is just going to destroy you. And so we got a little more connected as the game wore on.
So, two things if I could. First, just bigger picture, what do you feel like 2 games in you have learned about what this matchup is specifically? I know it's challenging when they're missing players, you're missing Fee,
Sure.
But like, what do you think you've learned about that matters most to take into the next 2 and potentially if you meet them in the playoffs?
I think it's still, gathering information. I think, both the games were very different. And so I think going through a full complement of games, I think then it will feel like we have a better handle on things. So we're still learning.
Specifically to that, seeing Lakeisha give you the minutes she did when Courtney had 4 fouls,
Yeah.
and the ability to get that, and Maria as well, just the extended time. Do you feel like you learned specifically about sort of the way they match up against some of your players?
Yeah, I mean, it worked for this game. I don't necessarily know you go in the next game going, okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing. Each game calls for something different. Maybe Courtney's not out of the game. Maybe T doesn't get the opportunities that she got. Maybe Mosh, you just never know. I just know that the difference in the game for us today was our bench. And it's stating the obvious. But that's how you win hard games, when everybody's locked in on, the key players and how hard it is for the key players to try to get some stuff done. So no question about it. T and Asha and Dejanay, gave us a big lift in that third period. It's the what? Okay. I would say that almost after every game, I feel like I walk away saying we should have played Marshawn. And so as we're learning about our own team, this was a game, obviously, something we didn't have necessarily last year, in playing against some bigger teams, and like Emma and JJ and certainly Izzy. Izzy had her way in with us in the first half. It just it just gave us something different that we needed, a little more length, to bother what they were trying to get done. And it couldn't be such a big target for them on the inside. Our activity when they were trying to throw it, Masha's length is incredible. Target radius, Lamb's length and activity. I just thought that two of them together would give us a lot of defensive beat.
What's behind this team's defensive buy-in? What's the source? What's driving it?
They don't like practices after games. Then they don't play defense, probably.
I'd say it's twofold. One, personnel driven. We new personnel going into this season. That's when it all started for us. Two, the coaches changed in terms of prioritizing. We sort of hit the reset button and really studied it, so we can't continue to be in the bottom four defensive and think that the Facing Colorado team should be able to do anything. And so we looked at some ways that it could be better. And the players bought in. I mean, it's always about the players, always. And if you want to be a better defensive team, you have to get better defensive players.
And then just what value is there to be found in learning to win without feet? Like in this stretch that you guys are going to have here, what have you seen from players just early in these first couple of games?
Keep speed humble. All the messages I got, from Fee, how proud she is, because look how hard it is. I mean, it's hard for New York. It's hard for players that don't have, their best players. And I think what we learn is what we know, but it gets reinforced is how gritty we are. That just throw some stuff at us. This team doesn't break. They don't break. You might beat us sometimes, but you're not breaking us. And there's a big difference there. And they have such high belief in one another, high belief, really the whole group. You allow coaching to happen, and there's nobody's sideways, and there's a belief in everything, and that collective is really strong, and so we're able to get through tough times like not having your best player.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Going back to Alana again, just beyond just the steals and the blocks, just every impact that she has, deflections, alterations, just is so consistent at it all season and throughout the time she's been with you all. Do you feel she should be the favorite right now for Defensive Player of the Year?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how much we depend upon her in her matchups. Every time we start a game plan, we talk about what man's influence is going to be. And this one was an important one. So a player like Emma, who can chew you up and spit you out with her activity, passing her basketball, and making everybody else better and getting easy baskets. And you're going to work really hard to let that happen. But Lan, I just know that when we were playing against her in Chicago, and that's the one that Fee said, I don't like playing against her. And we saw it, and shot blocking. It's just her and Fee. The first day that they played defense together, their server was terrific, and every move that Fee made, Lan knew where to be and play off of so well. Like, he's just really smart, really, really smart, and would absolutely be my choice for defensive player of the year.
Coach, congratulations again, and to build off of that a little bit. That 16-3 run at the end of the third quarter, everything, so much went right, but Alana had a couple of steals that led to about 5 or 6 points. Would you say that was two questions? One, was that just as instrumental as anything else during that run that gave you control, that you didn't lose? And second, in boxing parlance, there's pound for pound, like best fighter regardless of whatever metrics. With Alana, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, I'm sure that hasn't happened a lot in league history. Right. Would you say not just defensive player of the year, is she pound for pound one of the best players in the league?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think we have analytics, and if you look at things, depending on what you look at, I mean, I think a lot of times maybe the general public looks at scoring and says, well, if you score 25 points a game, you're one of the best players in the league. And we don't subscribe to that. We have a bunch of understated players that are highly productive analytically. I've got 3 players in the top 10 and wins above replacement butter. Depends on what you value. That means you impact the game to win. And it's not just score. As we saw Lan the night score, she had 25 last time we played. And so Lan will do that. Lan will drive. Lan will run the floor. Lan will set screens for me. So from a metric standpoint, she is one of the best players, but one of the top 10 or 12 best moves in the league. I recognize the general public isn't going to say that that's true. They're going to say Cheryl's lost her mind. But that's okay. So we have the team.
To be 27-5 in the first in the league in net rating, you have to be elite in all 4 quarters, but it feels like the third quarters have been especially prolific for you guys this year. Just kind of like a larger coaching theory question. How do you go about what information you want to give at halftime, and what's your process like in terms of making halftime adjustments?
I'd say halftimes are an adventure. Really depends on what happened. This group is difficult to sort of crash out on, but the kick's easy. It's difficult, but I do it. And what they'll say after you is, hit it. So they don't mind it. I physically don't care to do that very much anymore. There is so much trust in what we're doing with that. We're able to use video and then clean up some things. The ability to take information and apply it is what this group does very well. And before I get to halftime, they've already solved a lot of what just happened. And so I think you're in just sufficient words. So how do you go about it? It depends on what happened. I mean, we went into the halftime today talking about points in the paint. We were doing some things really well, but we weren't stopping them from just driving into them. And that was a big part of our conversation, and showed them on video. And you got to have trust when you are guarding a player that you know can score. It's hard to leave that player to go help. And you got to have trust to do it. And I tell them what's happening. If you do that and they get scored on, you're not getting yelled at. You keep doing it your way, and then it's just harder. It's harder to listen to my whining. So I don't know if that answers your question.